Hey, in today's video, I'm going to show you how I fixed a really poorly repaired kitchen ceiling. This ceiling was really wavy, but they didn't want to spend the money to cut it all out and replace it. And I had just gotten in this 40-inch skim coating blade, so we're going to put that to the test on this job and see how well it works right after this. Hey, welcome back to my channel here at that Kilted Guy Videos, and today I've got a unique situation. Actually, I see it fairly often, but I have a kitchen ceiling that someone else had attempted to do the repairs on, and it was really wavy. If you put a straight edge on it, it rocked really badly, and they wanted to fix this as, affordably as they could, so we're going to try and do it with a 40-inch skim coating blade that I got from Marshalltown tools. Now, I'll put a link to this tool in the description down below, but this tool will allow you to float things out flatter and wider, especially when you got something this bad. So the first thing I wanted to do on this ceiling, after masking, covering things off, which the homeowner did, by the way, is I want to scrape the ceiling and then sand it. And the reason for that is you want to knock off any bumps that you can that are sticking down, because those will make you have to put it on a lot thicker and it will create chatter marks. So once that sanding is done, then I want to move on to just laying the mud on pretty heavy. Now I'm putting it on with a smaller knife because, well, I don't have a 40-inch wide pen yet. It's on order, but it'll show up one day. So we're just going to put mud on really heavy where we see that it needs it. So we find out where the high points are with a knife and just kind of rock it, and then we spread mud out away from that. And the cabinets are going to go all the way up to the ceiling. They're getting new cabinets, so I'm not worried about going all the way to the wall. And then once you get a bunch of mud put on, you want to take the blade and just start going across that freshly installed drywall mud. And you're kind of doing this as a guide coat. You want to run it across here and see if there's still some low spots, and then you'll add some more mud and run it across the multiple times until it looks pretty decent. Now you do want to use hot mud if you're doing something like this, because if you put it on thicker than about 1/8 of an inch, you need to use fast setting joint compound, which we call hot mud. And the purpose of that is because if you use regular joint compound, it will take forever to dry. It will shrink terribly, and it just doesn't work well on deep fills like this. Now, if you're a novice, be sure to stick with 45 to 90 minute mud, because it can get away from you, and then you got to chip it all out of your bucket and pan. So once we get that first coat on, then we just come back with another coat, and depending on how much I feel like it needs, I'll sometimes put on another coat of hot mud. But if I got it pretty close in one coat before, I can skip to regular mud. But in this case, I believe I had to put on a second coat of hot mud. Let that set up. All it has to do is set up to where you won't mess it up with another coat. And then put on the final coat of regular joint compound. In this case, I prefer to use USG's +3 because it's a lot easier to sand and just works better than the green label on purpose. But you can use that if that's all you've got. Now once we get that coat on there and it's fairly thin, I usually fan dry it for a while. Then I come in and touch up any edges with some mud. You can touch those up in the middle with mud if they're not sticking down too much. If they are, you might have to sand them. Then along the edges where the new mud meets the old painted texture, you need to sand those fairly well to break down the edges, feather it out so that your new texture will blend in. Once that was all done, we sprayed a matching texture on the ceiling, and the homeowner told me a few days later that it looked great. They were really happy with it. I was not totally sure I could get this one to come out because it was so bad, but it did. Hey, by the way, if you like watching these kind of videos to learn how to do your own drywall and home improvement projects, be sure to subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click the bell icon or you won't get notified when we put out a new video. Hey, I hope that helped you out, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up, and I really appreciate a comment. Let me know what you thought, ask any questions, and so on. And otherwise, I thank you, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care, everybody.